Hey everyone, today I just want to talk about my new purchase I made. It's the Headrush Core by Headrush, obviously. I just want to go over some things I like and some things I do not like about the unit so far. I've only had it for a few weeks and I have used it in practice settings, both with a band and by myself. First of all, why I bought this unit was the form factor. In my opinion, this is about as big as a unit should be. It's just big enough to be on a stage. It's not too big. It's not like the Prime or the full Helix unit. It just looked like spaceships. I have had experience with the Quad Cortex. That seems to be a little bit small. I mean, the Quad Cortex is so powerful, and it did so many things well. But this one, for the price point, the size, the amount of foot switches I get, and the features. So what initially attracted me to this unit was the price. I bought it as a blemish product on Zounds.com for $679.95 or something like that. I think the original price is $799. And supposedly it was a blemish unit, and there was not a blemish on it. I still got the plastic screen protector on that I kept on just because, you know, why not? Touch screen works pretty well with it on, so might as well just keep it on. And it's a very sturdy unit. It's made with metal. It's not too heavy, but I feel like if I dropped it, I wouldn't have a problem. But for gigging, I think it'll last. Another thing I like about the unit is the foot switch functionality. If you go into this menu here, oops, not that menu. We'll go into this button right here, and we'll go into one of my scenes here, my rhythm scene. We have this option up here called the switch state. So it's on one. I can also make another switch state and then assign it a color, and then you know, turn an effect on and off just with one switch, which I wasn't able to do on the Quad Cortex. Even though the Quad Cortex has 8 switches, you wouldn't need double functions on the switches, but definitely not on the Helix. You can use, I think you can use 5 switches. I only use 4. Yeah, I can make that also. So you have 5 switches to work with and 2 banks of switches, which I don't use. I just use the 4, and then I use this one as the tuner, and that works for me. All I need is 4 scenes. The third reason I bought this unit was the in and out capability. I'm able to send both a signal to front of house, which I actually use to send a signal to a mixer for my drummers in-ear monitors, and then the same signal goes to my my power amp and my cab. And I'll show you how I did that. Basically, I made my signal chain, all right, with the IR at the very end. And then if I show you here in the global settings how I routed that. So basically, the main guitar out, that whole signal chain goes to the XLR and my headphones. I don't really use my headphones, but I guess if I'm just practicing by myself, that's useful. And then the alternate guitar out, which I had split before the IR. The alternate guitar out goes to my 1/4 inch out, which goes to my power amp. That allows me to run both a signal without the IR to my power amp and cab, and then a signal with the IR to my mixer and my drummers in-ears, which is super useful for me. Another thing I like about this unit is the touchscreen is very smooth. It works very well. Another good thing about this unit is are the presets for the effects. So if I'm just trying to get like a quick EQ or something, and you know, I'm just getting familiar, or I'm getting familiar with myself with the what the different frequencies sound like. You know, I'm kind of training my ear to kind of become familiar with that. But if you don't know, it's useful to have, like, you just want like a quick effect, and you don't want to have to, like, you don't maybe know what you want, or maybe you want to try something new. You have all these presets to work with that you can just start with. So, you know, I could just start with any of these things, mess with it from there, or just, you know, try to find something close to what I want it to sound like, and then work from there, which I think is a great feature. It's not something that I had on the HX Stomp. I had it on the Boss GT 1000 core, and I think they had them on there, and you could save your own presets, and I'm pretty sure you can save your own presets on the HX Stomp too. On those units, I just wasn't using that function very often, but I just feel like it's useful for when I'm trying to find, like, I don't use choruses very often, so like, you know, I just ended up using the default mono and working from there. But you know, you have all of these different options you can use just to get you started, which I feel like is super useful. Another thing that's great about this unit is just the features of it. Amp cloning, if you go into the thing, there's a metronome, obviously a tuner. Most units have the tuner. The practice tool I have not used yet. At some point I will, and I'll go over that as well. There's the looper, which actually I've really never used a looper, but I use it now more just because the ease of how to get into the looper. Like, all I have to do is press the fourth loops, hold down the fourth foot switch, which I don't know if it'll be on the screen or not, but just hold it down, the fourth foot switch, and the looper pops up, and it's super easy to use. I've used it a little bit, and I think it's kind of cool. I can just exit from the foot switch as well. So another cool thing about the foot switches is, you know, you can go to, you can go into the hands-free mode, which you can, you know, change your effects without going down to the unit. You can also bank up and down the foot switches like I was talking about earlier. So if you want to do a hybrid kind of feel, which I have mine set to, is so you have scenes right here, and then I have just some of the individual effects if I want control of that as well. Okay, now we're going to get into the things that are kind of annoying and the things that I don't really like about this unit. I haven't got rid of it yet, just because I'm going to give it some time. I want to see if maybe there's some updates. I hear Headrush doesn't really do a lot of updates, but hopefully they do fix these little things and this becomes a good unit, because I really think this is a good start. Like, this is a really good unit. The size and the functionality, it's hard to beat at this $800 price point. And I think in the future, more units will be this price point and have these features, and they'll obviously be better in the future. So one of the first things I found, I'm gonna start a new rig here. I'm gonna put an IR in this. Just an IR that I use a lot. I'm gonna do the dark sweet spot load. So an amp. Headrush, and I just found this randomly, and I don't know if it happens on other amps. I have messed with quite a few of them, but this high lead Powerball, so all right, so that's the preset, that's the amp as it comes up when you first bring it up. I'll put a noise gate on here just to... All right, that's the amp when you immediately load it up. I just noticed that, because usually I roll the treble off of amps when immediately, like, I don't like a lot of treble in my amps, and I just don't think this is like what the actual Powerball does. If you roll the treble back here, it gets all weird. It doesn't stop being weird until you get to like where it's originally set. All right, so that's annoying, because I wanted to use that amp, and I can still use the amp. I just can't roll the treble back as much as I want to on the amp. Now you can get around this by using EQ, which is fine. I'm probably gonna use an EQ anyway, so it's not gonna take another block. It's just a little bit of a glitch that just is kind of a turn off for the unit. You know, you want all your amp sims to work as they should. So yeah, I found that to be a little bit annoying. Another thing that can be a little tedious about this unit is the way that you set, I'm gonna go back to my preset here that I made. The way that you create scenes can be tedious. So like, especially in the HX Stomp, it was very intuitive. Like, you just kind of, it was easier. You would just kind of like hard press a button, or I mean, even easier was like the software to create your scenes, and this unit does not have software, so it does make it a little bit weird. But basically, you have 3 options for every effect that you have. It's either on, off, or no change. So basically, I've had to, on, off, on, just like every preset or every scene, I have to kind of do that, I just remember it being easier in the HX Stomp. Like I said, with the software, it makes everything easier when it comes to programming scenes. Even with the Quad Cortex, there was like, you could assign the effect or hard press the screen of what parameter you wanted to affect. And that's kind of, or what parameter you wanted to change in the scene, if that makes any sense. So like say I wanted more delay. Let's see, so I have this echo here. On the Quad Cortex, all you'd have to do is like hard press this, and then it would go into your kind of, it would know that you wanted to change that parameter for the scene. And then you'd have to assign the letter, corresponding to the foot switch or the scene, all right? I don't know, I know that I'm not making that very clear. But here, if you want to change, like say you want to change the mix on your echo, so I want to change the mix. I can't just change it and then assign it, say, hey, this is the scene, I want the mix at 30%, this scene I want the mix at 25%. It's not that easy. So what you have to do actually within the thing, if you want that, you have to make a preset with the mix higher, okay? Which isn't it's something you can work with. It's just not as intuitive as other units. So like here on the Echo, there's no preset. You can change the preset there to the one with the higher mix. Yeah, it's just a little tedious to make scenes. And this comes from somebody who, for as long as they've been using multiFX processors for the last, 4 years, it's been harder on this unit than other ones to do that. It still works though. I mean, like, you just have to kind of do more button pressing. This is a big one for me. This right here is, I don't know why this can't be better, but the signal chain, the signal path options, I don't understand why we just get the straight path, the middle split, this one where you're splitting from the input, and then the dual, which is fine. I guess this is like bare bones straight path, or bare bones signal routing compared to other units. Like at least with the HX Stomp, like you didn't have a ton of options, but you could split off wherever you wanted. Like especially with the GT 1000 core, if I wanted an overdrive, like I'll put this set in there, I could just split this off the unit and then have like a dry and wet just wherever kind of I wanted. And even with the GT 1000 core, those options were limited, but they gave you a chance to, like, I think you had like 3 or 4 splits you could do on the GT 1000 core. You had like 3 or 4 different splits you can use on the GT 1000 core, but you could put them wherever you wanted. Like I had some stuff where I was running a path up to path A, and then I'd like have an HM2 split, so I could mix in the HM2 sound with my like just regular high gain sound. And I like doing that. I like being able to mix in different sounds. And this one, it's just too, I mean, you don't even have like mix knobs on anything, so you can't like control how much of the effect you want in the signal, if that makes any sense. It's not a huge deal breaker. It's just something that I was used to doing, and I can't do it anymore without like, so like I could do it, but then I have to do this. I have to do this many blocks here and this many blocks here and that many blocks here. There's no way to like change that, which is kind of strange to me. All right, another thing I found the other day was that I tried to use my Tonx, because I also have a Tonx, as my amp model. So when I try to put it in there, oops, put it in my effects loop, and then for some reason, like, so I was looking for the gates, and then like I can't use this one now. Like, why? Why is that one? Why can't I use it? I mean, that's like I said, not a huge deal, but it's like kind of weird that happens. Like, what else happens now? Like, what else can't I use? So like, I don't know, let's just put like a reverb, or yeah, like I guess all my reverbs are available, so fine. And I just thought it was kind of strange. Like I said, none of these little glitchy things about this unit are game changers. Like, it's like, oh, I have to take this unit back. It's just like kind of annoying, you know? I guess it makes me kind of not trust the unit a little bit, even though I have not had any problems yet. Besides like the treble knob on the Powerball, like that kind of like was like, what the, why? That's just weird. And then, like I said, like with this particular gate, like maybe you know what this gate is. Like, you know, I don't know what a Cofton gate is. I think it's like a more of an active gate. Like, I used to use the dynamic gating on the GC1000 core, so it wasn't like a hard gate. It was more of like a organic gate, I guess. I don't know because I can't open it up because, you know, it's grayed out. So like I would like to use that with my Tonx, maybe, you know, but it's, you know, you can't because I'm pressing it and it's gray. So, you know, why? It just makes me like, I don't know. It's not a big deal. Nothing on this unit is a big deal. That's why I haven't sent it back yet. I do ask myself why sometimes when I'm using this. So far that's my review of the unit. Like I said, I've only had it a few weeks. It's worked well with practice in a full band through my power amp and my cab. You know, also running the signal into the mixer for my drummer. I've had a ton of fun with it, just plugging headphones in, and I can't say that about all the other units I've had. The GT1000 core, I hated the amp sims. The quad cortex, I just didn't like playing through headphones. It just didn't sound good. And then the HX Stomp, like, yeah, I didn't enjoy playing through headphones on that either. This one I have. Like, I've sat here and plugged in headphones, and, you know, maybe it's me that's changed, or maybe I have more knowledge now about how this stuff works. But I'm having more fun with this unit with headphones, so that is saying something. The more important functionality for me is my signal routing, the ins and outs, and how it sounds, you know, full blast, band setting, live, because those are my priorities. But if you're using this just by yourself at home, I'd highly recommend this unit. The cloud is cool, even though there's not a lot of people who use this unit right now. So anyways, that's the end of this video. Like I said, just going over a few things I like and don't like. And that's just within like a month of me having this unit. So like I said, after I have this show on the 4th of July of 2024, or July 6th, I think, I'll repost another video maybe like within a week after that, just to like tell you what my live experience was like, and then see if my opinion on it has changed at all.